Sixers Celtics. What a debut for VJ Edgecombe. 34 points and 7 rebounds. Looked like the perfect complement to Tyrese Maxey. I've always loved the idea of like hyper athletic guys alongside skill guards in the backcourt. So like essentially the polish finesse type of guard, even though Tyrese, I think, brings insane speed to the table, obviously, but that's why he's able to go for 40, right? He has the skill piece. And then off of him, I want an athlete that can rebound, defend, and can score with an advantage. And the key kind of storyline in the game defensively was that Boston was roaming off of VJ Edgecombe all night. And then in his on-ball reps, they were going under his picks. Boston essentially dared VJ to beat them all night long, and VJ just did. He got 6 unguarded catch-and-shoot threes and made 3 of them. He hit 2 off the dribble jump shots versus passive coverages. I thought he did a wonderful job of slashing in the half court when he had a chance. Like there was a play where Peyton Pritchard was nail helping off of, I think it was Tyrese on the right wing. And Peyton Pritchard digs down into nail help. VJ's just standing on the left wing. This was early in the game. Talk about those baked in driving lanes all the time, right? When there's nail help, he's closing out on one of your shoulders. All you have to do is rip the other direction. You kind of have guaranteed dribble penetration, right? Swing pass to VJ. He just ripped left immediately on the catch, got a dunk. He, in a transition push, ended up catching Xavier Tillman in a cross match. And the Sixers just spaced the floor. Nasty left to right crossover, went up and dunked it because he got there so fast that Boston's help was not able to step over. He had some super dynamic transition plays. He caught a ridiculous lob in the second half that was thrown way behind him in traffic, where he took off his right foot, caught it with 2 hands and dunked it from almost behind his head. In the first half, one of the plays that really got me excited for his potential, he had this nasty full speed Euro step where he kind of like attacks in semi transition, gets a little bit of a downhill, get some momentum going downhill, and Jaylen Brown steps up to help at the rim, and at full speed he like plants his right foot and Euros back to the left for like a lefty soft finish off the glass. Just a ridiculously athletic play, and even on the shots he missed, I thought he got great separation. Like he was able to just get to these like really nice lift and rhythm little mid-range pull-ups that he just happened to miss because right now he's still not quite that polished, and that stuff will come in time. And so that's why VJ to me feels very safe as a bet to be an all-star in this league, because if he can stay healthy, the reports about his character and his work ethic are great, and he's just a transcendently athletic guard. And so what an exciting backcourt partner for Tyrese Maxey, who was amazing in this game. His pull-up 3 was dialed in. He ended up hitting 3 in a row in the second half that closed a double-digit Celtics lead, and all 3 of them were nasty. He had like 3 or 4 ridiculous, like hard drive to the right into a pullback dribble, quick step back 3, where he was moving super fast. But if you like froze it, like trimmed out the move before, he's straight up and down on the pull-up jump shot. Just a really impressive display of footwork and athleticism. He ended up going for 40 in this game. And then they just have all these forwards who just play hard off of them. Obviously, Kelly Oubre, we all know he's been in that starting lineup for a little while now. He hit the biggest shot of the night, a little action off the right side where I thought Sam Hauser made a poor defensive decision. He helped off the strong side corner when it was pretty unnecessary. And so it was a little easy kick out. It's one of those things where in the moment you're like, okay, Kelly had been off from 3 for most of the game, but at the same time you stick to your defensive principles. Like Quentin Grimes was already wide open at the top of the key on this play, in large part because his man was already helping. So it was just kind of like an unnecessary overhelp from Sam Hauser, and that pass back across your body to the top of the key to Grimes is a much tougher pass to make than like a little 5-foot shovel pass to a wide open man in the corner. Kelly Oubre hits that shot. It effectively amounted to the game winner because they were down 2 when he hit that shot. But I was also really impressed by Dominic Barlow and Jabari Walker. The two of them both just kind of crashing and cutting and running constantly and just wrecking havoc at the rim just by being big athletes off of the attention that was garnered by their guards. Honestly, the only disappointing thing, if you were a 76ers fan, was that Joel Embiid looked like an absolute shell of himself. Like Jackson and I were joking before we started recording, like I don't think he made a single move towards the basket in that entire game. Every time he caught, it was just kind of like a face-up jumper. He had Jaylen Brown in a post-up and like just spun over his left shoulder for a super difficult fadeaway. You could tell the lift isn't there. The left shoulder fadeaway is a classic example. That's one of the toughest shots in basketball for a right-handed player because you have to pivot and like square up in midair. And he just didn't get close to enough lift, and so he kind of just flung it up there, and it didn't really have much of a chance to go in. He had some plays in help side. He has a couple play, like he had a block in transition in the second half where you're like, whoa, that was kind of like a throwback little play. But like for the most part, he didn't really seem very vertical or mobile around the basket and help on defense. He just kind of looked like his knees are shot. But let's hope that he's just working his way back and that he can continue to get better as the season progresses. It made me happy to see him out there playing, but it was definitely disappointing to see just the level of physical aggression that he had. But what a fun backcourt to root for. Now you have Quentin Grimes too. Like obviously he was there last year, but you have Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain as well. Like you have 4 really good guards. Grimes hit a huge 3 late off the left wing, kind of a contested one when they really needed it. Jared McCain obviously will be back eventually when his thumb gets better. It's a fun team for Sixers fans. I would imagine that the Edgecombe stuff had to have been the antidote to the Joel Embiid frustrations. On the Celtics front, they got stagnant late. They started spamming Jaylen Brown high post ups, and he hit one of them. But there were some misses in there, and it just kind of got stagnant. And they got away from some of the stuff they were doing earlier in the game. They did control the majority of the game, though, in large part because they do have a lot of talented perimeter players like Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, and Anthony Simons all had moments in the game where they had big stretches on offense where they put some points up and kind of got into a little bit of a flow. Anthony applied some more rim pressure than he did in preseason. He had a big semi-transition dunk where he crossed his man up and went up off his right foot and dunked it with 2 hands. Yeah. The only thing that really stood out to me, they just struggled to guard in large part because their front court is just so limited. And that's a fast Sixers team. And so when you don't have rim protection behind them, it just puts your guards in a really tough spot. And man, that center rotation looked brutal. Xavier Tillman missed several threes that looked like they had no chance to go in. Right at the end of the game, late off of a miss from Jaylen Brown, he had a point blank range little kind of touch floater hook thing that was like 3 feet from the basket that he left short. That was a huge miss in crunch time. Luka Garza couldn't hit his shot. Nimi Quaida was probably the best guy that we saw last night. He put up a decent stat line. I should say on Wednesday. Put up a decent stat line, but it was just jarring to see that core juxtaposed with what we saw last year from the Celtics from the center position.